Ubisoft love to be ambitious when it comes to Assassin's Creed in the sense they like to try new things, but in this video we're going to talk about 5 things that need to be removed from Assassin's Creed because either we might not like them or they don't work. This video is going to be in my opinion. If you disagree or have more to add, then please go ahead and leave that in the comments, but in this video we're going to of course be talking about 5 things that must go. To start off with, we have got the optional objectives. If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know that I'm not exactly the biggest fan of optional objectives because I find them to be quite limiting, because in order to get the best sync possible, you have to do things in a certain way which limits how you might want to do them, but you might be a completionist and you might wind up doing it how they want you to rather than how you want yourself to, which will result in less of an experience and more of just you're somewhat in control, but for the most part you're being handheld. And I feel as if the optional objectives are there. They sometimes actually make things easier by suggesting things, and other times just make you stressed out because you want to get that 100% sync. And I feel as if they're also just a bit of a hand-holding thing that shouldn't be there at all. And I mean, Assassin's Creed does enough hand-holding as it is. It doesn't need optional objectives, which it has had since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And honestly, I'm not the biggest of fan because I want to see a little less hand-holding. And I feel as if removing optional objectives and having people play how they want is a good way to do that. In Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I don't know what Ubisoft were thinking when they did this, but they added this feature not to do anything really useful, but to in fact insult our intelligence. In order to signify when you're in stealth mode and when you're not, they included the top hat feature, because being bent over didn't exactly signify stealth mode as much as it possibly could have done apparently, where crouching is enough. We don't need the hat to signify when we're not in stealth mode. Okay, we're not idiots. I feel as if that's all that needs to be said on that one. This next point could honestly be applied to every Ubisoft game that has an open world. Now, Ubisoft like to fill their open worlds with the most interesting thing ever, which are pointless collectibles. So, I believe that Ubisoft should remove these pointless collectibles, or at least make their worlds more interesting by putting more interesting stuff in there than these ridiculous collectibles that you collect and you don't do anything with, nor do they do anything besides from maybe give you money rewards or improve your stats ever so slightly. Having an open world that is just pointless collectibles like Assassin's Creed Rogue doesn't create an open world that feels anything more than just a game. It doesn't feel alive in the slightest, and that's where Ubisoft has a downfall on not just Assassin's Creed, where it is present quite a fair bit, but in almost every open world Ubisoft game that's been made in the past few years as a whole. I do understand that it does mean going the extra mile. Open world games have always been the games that require you to go that extra mile, and if you're not willing to do anything more than fill the world with ridiculous collectibles, then why are you making open world games? Now, in certain games like Black Flag or Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, there are other things in the open world to make it feel alive, but in recent games it has just been a lot of pointless collectibles and not much else to do, like in Assassin's Creed, Rogue and Syndicate. And I'm sure a lot of people can back me when I say I'd rather spend my time in a game's open world doing quests and stuff like that, exploring what the world has to offer, rather than kicking the lids on chests, having them open, collecting fragments that seem out of place, and chasing after pieces of paper that just want to fly. Now, considering how a lot of Ubisoft games are like this, I don't see this changing for Assassin's Creed anytime soon, unfortunately. But we can dream that eventually Ubisoft will listen and start to flesh out their open worlds with a lot more than just data fragments. The worst example for this next point is Assassin's Creed Unity, in which we see the customization which has been poisoned by the presence of microtransactions that are forced quite heavily. I do believe Syndicate is the same story again, which basically means that everything is priced ridiculously, so you have to grind for hours to be able to afford one thing that you might need or want, and even the medicine is a high price just so that they can account for this, which are in fact microtransactions. They're an annoyance, and they're also an excuse to make the game feel longer for people who aren't willing to use them, and honestly it's just annoying is what it is. It's annoying. Don't use nobody likes them. Nobody likes them being there. Nobody cares. And you could say you don't need them. Yeah, you don't. But I'd rather not spend 15 hours grinding for one piece of kit that's on its own useless, just so I can continue the game. Just saying. Now for this final point, words cannot express how much this has to go, because this is a bad omen for Assassin's Creed, that being Bishop. Bishop, the moment you see Bishop on your screen, whether it was in Unity or Syndicate, meant that the modern day would be shit, which in both games it was. Unarguably, it just is shit, there's no arguing. So please kill off Bishop in the next Assassin's Creed game so we don't have to see it ever again, and we might actually have good modern. Funny thing is, I'm not even joking on that point, please just remove Bishop and make the modern day great again. But there you have it, everybody, 5 things that need to be removed from Assassin's Creed. Now that last point would seem like a joke, but it really wasn't. I really hate Bishop. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, tell your friends about this, and I'll see you on the next one. So yeah.